1967 to 1977. 67, some people might say 68, but the first Commando was shown in London in late 67 at the Earl's Court motorcycle show. And my, I guess, obsession or interest in Commandos started in 1975 with my first Commando basket case, which I built and rode quite a bit. And since then, I have built quite a few. This special here and the 4 or 5 down, or 5 down this row are all bitses built from swap meet parts here and there. No bike was harmed in building these. This particular bike here, probably close to 30 years old now since I first put it together, and I hadn't changed much. Was my first attempt at a Triumph gearbox in a Commando, and that's the whole purpose for that, of course, is to put a 5-speed in it. The other thing I did on this bike, which was very late 80s or early 90 or so, was to put a third isolastic mount underneath. I'll show one of the bikes further down the row. So it's running a T140 rear wheel, Triumph clutch, so the cush driver's in the clutch. Custom made pipes and headers. That's a fastback tank with an interstate tank with a fastback tail, and some replica early side covers. It's a full 850. It's a 360-degree crank, and it runs a pair of 34mm carburetors. This one, some years later, actually is another Triumph gearbox, and by looking down there lower, I've shown it on another YouTube article, but there's a third mount there. That makes the top mount redundant and takes care of any squiggle the bike might have when there's a bit of a loose isolastic going on, and that puts all the swing arm load between the one under the oil tank and the one that's added at the bottom, and cures a lot of problems in my mind. Anyway, so this runs Japanese forks and wheels. It's actually a 70-degree offset crank, which I first tried to do around the same time as I did this white bike. And, you know, some success, but I've played with them a little bit, but they've never been perfect. But anyway, this one has Venolia pistons. It's right up at around 880, 888, somewhere around that. 79mm bore, 79.5 bore, somewhere in that area. And over to this one, this has a Dunstall barrel. It's been bored and sleeved to get away from the thin bores, and then the case has been bored out, and the cases are, from memory, are a pair of 72 combat cases with the extra webbing inside around the journals, the main journals. It's only running a normal 4-speed, and it's running Japanese wheels again with a homemade mono shock. The shocky is up under that oil tank, which I also made, and the tank is out of the UK. Fastback with a lighter style tank, and 17-inch wheels, maybe 18 and 17. It has a Druin supercharger, which has been converted to tooth belt drive, which makes it a bit more positive than the old slip type belt that was first brought out. The next one along is a bit of a rough old frame to start with. It's a 750, running a bit of a hot rod cam and a pair of 32s in order, like PWK carbs. It has a normal gearbox, or 4-speed Norton gearbox. It has a 4-pot caliper, 18-inch wheels front and rear, and it's set up like a dirt tracker with the XR style Harley rear tail. That 4-pot caliper is, long story to that, but they're made in America to go on the back of Harleys or any custom Harley stuff, and it all started years ago when people started putting Triumph calipers on old Harleys to replace the shitty banana caliper on the back. And these things went along and along for many years, and finally someone started making 4-pot versions of them. Well, that 4-pot version just bolts straight onto a Triumph, and or in this case the Norton via that normal caliper mount plate, which people would normally put a cast iron Triumph caliper on a Norton to make it work better. Well, here it is with that available 4-pot caliper. This thing runs a SS or high rider tank, and it has a bit of a dirt street tracker look about it. This one here is more of a street fighter style, a bit more of an aggressive look. It's a bit of a hot rod engine, although it only runs a large 36mm McKinney, a bit of a cam. This one also has the third isolastic and the 5-speed Triumph. There's actually no top mount, as you may be able to see there. No need for it. Another swing arm. It's actually a YZ 450 or something, 400 Yamaha, modified to hang in the cradle, and a monoshock up between inside the oil tank, which is another made piece on the bench. 18-inch front and 17-inch rear, I think. I mean, other way around. 17, it must be 17 front and rear, doesn't matter. Anyway, a 68 Fastback. This one started life at an auction. It was a frame and it was a set of engine cases, and that was it. In the meantime, over many years, picked up enough stuff to make it a fairly convincing, how would you say, model or whatever, 68 Fastback. An example of a 68 Fastback. The original, all 68 model Nortons were Fastbacks. This is 68 numbers, so there it is. Has the early style domed primary and the flat exhaust with the Atlas style mufflers. It's a non-finished motorcycle. It will be one day. This particular model bike here is coming along. The engine's on the bench down behind me. This is an R model, which was an interim and one of your first with the Roadster style tank. It's at 69. Everything else is pretty normal, and the 69 will run the same mufflers as the Atlas and Fastback. I've got the pipe, but no mufflers yet. Next one along is a 70 model S. It's got a late model guard on it, 72 plus guard, but this early guard's pretty hard to find. The side cover's cocked out there a bit, but anyway, I'll get to mount that properly. It's mostly done. Needs a little bit of wiring finished and some fuel lines and stuff, but other than that, it's pretty close to being a goer. There's a spare spot here. I've left this. I've got a bike down the bottom that's a 71, a Long Range, and it's the Long Range is a fastback with an Atlas style tank, and it was an interim between the fastback itself and what later became known as the Interstate. So in 71, that was it, another model. This one here is a 71 as well, so it's a high rider. And they were the English or the Norton's answer to the chopper craze at the time, back in the early 70s and late 60s, early 70s. The bike next to it is a 72 Combat. The motor too is on the bench downstairs, the rest of the bike's down there, gradually cleaning it up, getting it ready to finish putting that together. That one next to it is a 72 as well. It's an SS. There's a pipe up each side, the high pipe, with the standard pea shooter mufflers. A factory bike again, and a little bit of an oddball, but you know, they had another go at the dirt bike scene after that S model back there a year or two before. This one here is a 850 Norton that I rode a lot. It's got a bit of an oil pressure problem at the moment, so I've got it pulled apart, or starting to pull it apart. I need to rip the engine out of it, and I'm changing a few more things back to stock spec. And it's been a very good bike, big comfortable thing, tall geared, just big rangy cruiser. There's a space here for what is down the bottom is an Interpol 73 and a 74 JPN and a 75 electric start Roadster. This bike here is built from a really rough basket that was actually a 74 model, and it's set up as a Norvil. It's an 850, it's a Norvil like production racer. It has the big tank, which is your Le Mans style, you know, endurance style tank, Norvil tail, and a few other Norvil pieces here and there. But they're all reproduction, which is available. Unlike this fella here, a Dunstall, everything on this bike is not being reproduced. So anything that's Dunstall generally means it's from the original Dunstall brothers. I mean Paul Dunstall, who was making this stuff back in the 60s and 70s. And it's got quite a bit of what would be the catalogue items that I've found through many swaps over the years. It's the Dunstall plates, the megaphones, 2-into-1-into-2, the twin discs, which is, you know, a bit of a rare feature. The big block 810 barrel, which still has it re-sleeved. Opened the cases up, made the sleeve stronger, and I've got the original 810 standard pistons in there, 76mm bore. So that's a 72 model bike. And that one there is a Gus Coon. Now, Gus Coon had a shop in London. He did a lot of racing, and they production raced Nortons. This has a Dunstall front end on it, so a lot of these blokes that didn't have their own stuff, like Kennedy and a few others, would use Dunstall or whatever parts for their cafes. They might make the bodywork, but that was what they usually do. It's got a pair of pretty special headers on them. They're got probably one of the first ever crossovers in a British bike, and then they waist down right about there. You can see the header pipe goes down from inch and a half to inch and 3/8, I think it is, and then out the back. So it was one of Dunstall's tuning methods, and it too only has a 4-speed, alloy rims and Dunstall Megas. They're not the MGO replicas, they're the real ones, as is on this Dunstall itself. So there you go. All up, when the line is full, there'll be something like 20 Commandos, and there's a couple of other little things going on too, but anyway, it'll probably take me another year or two to finish the lineup, but there you go. One man's obsession with Commandos, I suppose, eh? Anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching.